watching the Evercade Effect.
Oh yeah, welcome to the Evercade Effect. This is Ed, and today we're going to talk about like, hey, I've got an Evercade. Now what? What carts do I buy? There's over like 40 carts and 500 games. What's good? I want to get the biggest bang for my buck. Or say you're an existing Evercader and you want to revisit some carts and you want to know like a good top five. So yeah, I'm going to give you my recommendations getting into Evercade, my top 5 recommended carts that you should get in order. And I'm also going to do a bonus cart. It's kind of like a runner-up, if you will, that I had to throw in there. So stick to the end. You won't want to miss that. And I think you'll see why it's going to make sense. So first, I need to talk about Data East Arcade 1. Right now, there is a Data East Arcade 2 that's coming out. Later this month in November, depending on when you watch it. But I want to go through this because this was bundled with the Evercade VS when that first came out. So whether you ordered now a VSR or an EXPR, you're going to be getting Tomb Raider, which is an awesome cart. So that's, you automatically have that. So it's like, well, where do I go from here? This one, at least at the time of making this video, is my number 1 overall favorite arcade cart. And I'll kind of tell you why, and why really you can't go wrong with this cart. There's definitely some nostalgia involved, right? So let's talk about Bad Dudes versus Draconia. Oh my God. This is an awesome beat 'em up, and at least for me, I can jump on, I can play through this anytime. It's a good, 30 minutes or less to beat the game. I love streaming this game. Like, this is an awesome classic if you want a good beat 'em up. What else? Breakthrough, kind of a different, like shoot 'em up, kind of, it's one of those like challenging little frustrating games. Not really a shoot 'em up, but you're like driving a car. I don't know. Not a reason to get this cart, but kind of an added bonus. Of course, Burger Time, right? Like, who doesn't love the arcade version of Burger Time? Oh my God, Burger Time is a great classic. It speaks for itself, and you get on this cart. And then we have Chain Reaction. Yes, while it's not Tetris, it's really good. It's a really cool puzzle game. It's a lot of fun. I think there may even be like a 2-player mode. But yeah, so this is another game that mixes well. This is a great variety of games. And then you have Gate of Doom. Kind of think of it another kind of hack and slash beat 'em up. Kind of think of it as like the off-brand Dungeons and Dragons Golden Axe. Still a lot of fun, even though it's nothing. It's not those games. But keep in mind, it's still going to be just like a lot of fun. Again, it's you're getting a great variety of 1-player and 2-player games. So I just want to throw that out here. And then you have Darwin. So some people like this shooter. Data East really isn't known for their shooters. This is the weakest game on the collection, but hey, it's here. Again, not the reason to get it. Lock and Chase. So if you like like Pac-Man and those type of games, Lock and Chase is really fun. It's really different. Again, it gives you like great varieties. You can see all these bangers. Sly Spy. Oh my God, I do remember playing this in the arcade. Here you have unlimited quarters. Very very challenging. Kind of like it's the run and gun. It's very very interesting. Very very different. A quick 20-30 minutes or not. Time to beat it. Awesome game. And then Tumble Pop. If you like, like your Snow Bros and like Bubble Bobble games. Oh my God, Tumble Pop. It's great. It's like the one of those games you never played before. This is, this I think took like an hour to beat. And keep in mind all these you have save states. It's great. And then Wizard Fire, Dark Steel 2. So we have the sequel. That's the sequel to Gate of Doom. Again, another really great fun game to play through. So yeah, if you like your like beat 'em ups and some classic arcade games, this is a great overall collection. Like I go back to this one a lot, so that's why I can't recommend it enough. So here we have Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood, and this is another oldie but goodie. Yes, you might be like, oh, there's 2 games on this cart. Well, be prepared. There's some games I'm going to recommend that only have 2 of them, but it's quality over quantity. So Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood. In the beginning, I was like, well, there's only 2 games, right? But my God, this is like one of their best dual carts they've ever put out. Xeno Crisis is still like, that will forever be like within my top 10 for games. And notice I mentioned more, and Tanglewood too, kind of depending on your cup of tea. But I'll explain that. This cart hasn't gone legacy, which means when Evercade carts go legacy, you can no longer buy them. I don't see that happening with this cart because it is, modern indie retro aftermarket homebrew, whatever, but it can be difficult to find sometimes. But let's talk about the 2 games that you get. So Xeno Crisis, if you haven't heard, it's, if you've ever played like Smash TV, like twin stick shooters, except it's designed perfectly for the Evercade controller. So let me show you what I mean. I have the DS controller here. So this is a perfect diamond shape. So shoot up, shoot down, shoot one direction, shoot the other, and then you move, and then you do use your like L and R keys to like roll and like shoot grenades. So it's made for the controller, right? Like if you remember playing like Smash TV back in the day on Super Nintendo, it has tight controls, plays just as good, and you can buy it for like every single like system out there: Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and Nintendo 64. But here you can have a physical copy, and this also will for digital will cost you like 15, 20 bucks. At least I know on Steam. So it's worth it alone for this cart. And then in addition, so this is like your action-paced, very challenging. I have beaten the game on easy with with save states, without continuing to get the best ending. Working on hard. Anyways, very tough. I put a ton of hours into this game. Very awesome. And then you have Tanglewood, which is like your puzzle platformer, right? I played only a little bit of this game, but a lot of people who really got into it swear by it. It's kind of a cool, like chill kind of mood game. Like you can't die, I don't think. You just kind of get sent back to checkpoints. So yeah, and you have save states again for both of these games. It's really cool contrast and comparison. And again, I think this other game is like 15 so more bucks by itself. So I tons of replay value for Xeno Crisis. Yes, it's a tough game, but if you like that type of game, you're totally gonna love it. So this next one, and I'm gonna talk about a cart that's not even out yet. It's like, what? Okay, so I had to recommend a shoot 'em up collection, and like Toaplan, really sets the standard of awesomeness, right? And there's gonna be a total of 4 collections for Toaplan. So let me kind of talk about that here. So currently, we do have Toaplan 1 and 2, which are great, and I'm going to tell you why specifically. I'm recommending 3, and then 4 that's going to be coming out. So there is a specific reason as to why I'm recommending it. And let's take a look at the game list, and you'll kind of see why. So this has, so far for Toaplan, like I haven't played all these. I played some of them, and I'm also going by other reviewers, what people have told me as well. And this looks like the best curation of shoot 'em ups. Like, and I'm going to mispronounce and bastardize, and I apologize, but like Batsagun or Batsagun or whatever. That is, oh my god, that's like one of their best. That's just like one of their best shooters, and I think like one of the later ones. And then you also get the special edition, which it's gonna be neat. I'm glad that they threw that on there to see like the contrast and comparison of what other like enhancements in gameplay. But yeah, it's going to be worth it for that alone. Like that's, oh my god, that's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then you have Outzone, which kind of looks like your cool kind of Commando, Ikari Warriors. Again, top down, like shoot 'em up, freaking fantastic. And then Fixate. It looks like, again, another type of shooter, but it's cool to get like the kind of shooters where you're the person in the vehicle. So I love that. I love the first Truxton. Like, oh my god, Truxton 1 is fantastic, and that's on Toaplan Arcade Collection 1. So keep in mind, these are all the actual like arcade versions of it. Same with Daddy's 1. These are all arcade. They're not like the inferior console ports or anything. So that I'm looking forward to. And then we have Cokes, which I don't know. That's this guy. You're not going to get it for this game. This looks pretty cool. Fantasy themed block breaking bat and ball. And this, I haven't had Toaplan disappoint. And then we have another shooter, Vimana. Really, you could insert any of the Toaplan collections here, any of them at all. The reason I'm just recommending this one is because this looks like this is going to be some of their best shooters. But really, insert any Toaplan arcade, that you want here. All right, so now we're getting down to number 2 and number 1, and this was tough, but these came out last year. So again, another dual card. So Demons of Asteborg, these games were just like freaking legendary. And so these are like newer homebrew aftermarket games. Yes, I think you can get them on Steam for like $10, $15 each, but you get a physical card. Keep in mind here. I'm just talking about, the value. So with this, they're both platformers. Although what's interesting is that so Demons of Asteborg came out first. This one, it's like, these are both Genesis ports. So if you love those kind of graphics and those kind of vibes, This kind of reminds me of like kind of like the Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins, whatever version on Genesis, and like Castlevania. It's really it is excellent. Like I can't recommend it enough. It's like Demons of Asteborg is like fully polished. I want to say I think I spent like 10 hours around or so on this game. You can save your progress. It's amazing, great story. And Asterbros, which I think is the newer one, but it takes place afterward. Like I think it's supposed to take place before. Now this one is, they call it a plot. So Demons of Asteborg, yes, think of it as like your typical like side scroller or platformer, not Metroidvania. Really, I mean, you kind of have to maybe figure out the paths to go. Asterbros is kind of more of that realm. It's your roguelike type game. There's three characters you can pick from all their benefits. If you die, you don't start all the way over, but you do go back to your save point. I mean, of course, you can use save states, which helps. But Asterbro, like I like preferably I like Asterbros better. They're both great games, but I love my roguelike games and the versatility of picking the three characters, lots of stuff to unlock and abilities. Like this is a great deal. So it was difficult. This almost would have been my number one, but this, if you love these kind of games and the fact that you get like two really high quality games, you're gonna love it. Now let's go to my number one pick. And this may not be any surprise really to anybody. It's a Duke Nukem Collection 1. And there's a reason why. And it's just, again, let me just scroll down before I fumble over my words. So really, you're buying this for the remasters of Duke Nukem and Duke Nukem 2. And let me tell you, at the time, at least of recording this video in 2024, you cannot buy these games like anywhere else. This is an exclusive to the Evercade. I haven't heard if Blaze is going to have any plans to release it to PC or to the Switch or anything else, but as of now, you can only get it on Evercade. That's not just the reason to get it, but if you love Duke Nukem, these are remastered, they're widescreen, they kept it 2D, they didn't ruin it by like butchering the graphics or making 3D versions. Yes, I forgot a bit about that. They truly enhanced it, and they added a soundtrack to it. And anytime during the game, I think it's select, you can press, and you can switch between like whichever modes. And this is a native game, but still you can save anytime you want. It's a native game, and they build off of each other story-wise. And I think I easily plunked in like 10 hours of each of them when I got this last December. I couldn't stop playing it. As a bonus, you get Duke Nukem 3D, which is an inferior port. It's the PlayStation version of it. You're much better playing this on PC or something else because the controls are just going to be better, hands down. But they throw that on here. Again, yes, it's kind of cool to have the PS1 version, but not the reason you're getting it. You're getting it just for these two games. That does sell out quite a bit. There is the Duke Nukem 2, which I don't recommend because unless you really want to play the Duke Nukem Advance port for Game Boy Advance, and then they have the other two weird like PlayStation 1 versions, which are more like Tomb Raider, but I like Tomb Raider better. But anyways, this game is fantastic. I couldn't stop playing it. A lot of these collections I couldn't stop playing. They're all like really, really good. And we are going to go ahead and talk about the bonus. So this last game I put on here, you could really substitute it for anything, but it's really different. It doesn't really fit into like a top 1 or top 5. It's more about the experience, right? So I had to throw this in here, and this is Full Void. There we go. And maybe wondering why I put this on here. So for a few reasons, right? This is the first single game cart. Yes, you heard me. The first single game cart, but it's I don't know what they call it. It's more of you solve puzzles and all that, and you can beat I think like it took me like around like 4 hours. I took my time, didn't do any spoilers or anything like that. But it's just like the graphic style, the art, the story, like everything just really draws you in. Plays great on the hand. All these games play great on the handhelds and on the, like the EXPR or VSR. These all play great, or VS or whatever, whichever one of those you have. Anyways, but yeah, for me it was just the experience of being like immersed in the story, and I just like walked away, and I felt really good about myself after playing it, and I feel like I accomplished something. And then sometimes like it can be a rare experience, so it's not going to be as long or as much replay value, though you can play it again to unlock the achievements. It is just so good. Like I don't want to I don't want to spoil it, but you really have to check it out for yourself. And the reason why this is important is that if I saw this on Steam, I would I'm not paying like $20+ for that. for a digital copy. You know, I would have turned up my nose. Wouldn't have really seemed anything special. Those games were like a dime a dozen on any platform. But the fact that it was on Evercade, the fact you get a physical copy, you know, I was kind of like forced to buy it because I'm collecting everything Evercade, and I really enjoyed it. It was like one of the best experiences that I've had. A short experience, but like really, really good. And so yeah, I can't recommend it enough. They do have a special edition, which for me, I passed on it because it came with like a poster and some other like little goodies, like stickers and whatnot that I didn't really care about. Like nothing really special. And this one, it kind of comes with a comic book that tells the story. Anyways, plus I wanted it. It's a red cart, and I wanted it to match everything else behind me. So yeah, those are my top 5 for getting into the Evercade ecosystem that I highly recommend. That honestly, I feel like you can't go wrong. And you'll be happy that you got those carts, and it really kind of showcases the versatility and what Evercade is all about. But let me know in the comments below if you agree. Are these good 5 carts to recommend for newcomers to Evercade? Do you have questions about these carts? Are you thinking about dipping your toe into the Evercade ecosystem and maybe you want to pick these up? Let me know. And if you do enjoy this kind of content, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe, because I stream Evercade and indie games and arcade games and all that cool stuff like once a week. And I have a weekly podcast called Evercast where me and my friends, we talk all Evercade related stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And if you want to get more of this channel, we do have memberships. I'm going to go ahead and thank my channel members. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching, and goodbye. Thanks, Crashline, Mr. Shua, Immortal Sojourn, Sucker MC, Ember Cummings, Joe Whitlash.